My name is Veronica, and I'm a customer relationship manager here at ISI. I wanted to introduce our presenter today, Adam Vicencio. Adam has been a senior trainer here at ISI for well over 4 years. During his training sessions, he shares the ins and outs along with some tricks within our tool. Since he's always busy sharing information about our tool, I thought it'd be fun to share some information about him. Before diving into the world of technology and service at Apple and here at ISI, Adam enrolled in culinary school in Chicago. His favorite courses included learning about the different types of breads and all types of sauces. The school actually encouraged the students to eat all of the food they had made in order for them to understand the full process. Adam didn't mind following this suggestion until the task was to eat a lobster he had just recently cooked. Now, Adam, who says no to lobster? I'll hand it over to you and let you explain a little further.
Yeah, thanks, Veronica. So yeah, I was in culinary school and they passed me this live lobster, told me what needed to be done, stood in front of this big old boiling pot, did what I needed to do to pass the class, but when it came time to testing it, I just couldn't do it. I felt bad for the poor guy. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. Culinary school was definitely my first like journey into Chicago, moving here. But so yeah, well, let's go ahead and move on. So yeah, as Veronica stated, um, today's topic is going to be scheduling and sharing reports, and specifically, we'll be doing it in the new application, the new engine. So by the end of today's session, my goal is that you'll have a better understanding of how to schedule your reports, as well as sharing access to these reports to other users within the product. And don't worry, as promised, as always, we're going to have time for a Q&A following the presentation, where you can ask me any questions regarding today's topic or our application in general. Now, I know I say this every week, but I just want to reiterate that the chat section is disabled, but please utilize the Q&A. Veronica will be monitoring that and helping me out afterwards with giving any questions that might have popped up. Once the presentation's over, I'm gonna stop the recording and unmute yourself. Allow yourself to unmute yourself, and we'll just ask that if you want to ask questions, use the hand raise feature. That helps me see who needs to be answered in which order. And then obviously, once the presentation is over and I've stopped recording, I'm going to share that information in a video for you guys to be able to review later. All right, so that being said, and that kind of that intro being done, let's go and get started. And what I'm going to do is we'll switch to the product. Okay, so as I said, we are going to primarily be in the new engine. So again, we're going to go to app.isianalytics.com, like we have in some of the previous videos. Logging in, this is the new application that is allowing you to run reports and do dashboards. And what I really wanted to stick to is not, and I know we went through a report template section last session, but I really wanted to talk more about scheduling and sharing reports. And so I've created a couple of templates here. I did a couple of queue summary reports that I have by final action for my different queues. I also have a long duration call report, which is a detail level report. So I just have these templates that I've already designed for this demonstration. So let's say you've built these reports, but you want to set these on a schedule. You want to run them, whether it's a one-time ad hoc report or at a later date, or something that you want to just do weekly or monthly. And how you're going to accomplish that once you have your templates created is you're going to go to the Schedule Templates tab. And here, this is where you can set up which reports you want to run on a specific schedule. And so how you can apply that is we can do the new schedule button here in the upper right-hand corner. And it's going to give us this pop-up window that's going to allow us to add the reports and schedule them. And so first we're going to call this my monthly queue summary reports. So we'll just call it monthly queue summaries. And then I'm just going to put a description of, these are my 3 queues that I want to receive monthly reports on. And obviously I have, there we go. And now you're going to say which templates you want to add. So you're going to push the plus template, and then you're going to see the templates that I've created. So right now I want to do the three different queued reports that I created. So support, accounts, and accounts payable and sales queue. We're going to add those 3 reports to this scheduled report box. You can decide here what you want the file name to show up as. So you can change that to whatever you would like. You can remove them as, if you add one on accident, you don't need it, you can remove it from this list. When the file name is created, you can say whether you want to add to the end of the file name the date and time that the report ran at or the date range. Okay, so I could do date range. We'll move to the next tab. The date range. This is where you determine what it is that you want to return back in these reports, because the reports themselves don't actually have the date range in them. You're just designing the report. It never comes up until you either run the report or you schedule it. And so in this situation, since I did talk about monthly, we'll talk about monthly, but I wanted to kind of go over the different options. You do have a specific date range, and this would be more prevalent if you're doing an ad hoc report. So you're running a one-time only report, maybe at the end of the month, and you want it specifically for the 21st through, say, the 30th, right? And then when it ran for that date range. If you're doing a scheduled report, you really wouldn't want to do a specific date range because you're going to get the same dates over and over and over again. That's not really what you're looking for. So like I said, if you're going to do a scheduled like monthly report, that's when you're going to do relative. Okay. And you're going to say the last month, which one thing I want you to notice as I change the relative options is that it does give you kind of an idea of what that looks like. So right now, if it ran for the last month, it's going to do March 1st through March 31st, which is the previous month's date range. Okay. If I had done the last, say, 30 days, then it's going to change and say from 310 to 48. Okay. You do also have current options. So you can say current day, current week, and so forth along those lines. You could do that, include today and stuff like that. So you do have a lot of options when it comes to your relative date range. The one thing I do want to notice or point out is that if you're trying to do the last week's worth of information, normally I would say like, all right, let's do the last 1 week worth of information, but it's going to do it based on a work week. So you're going to notice that it says 3:30 through 4/5, which is last week. I think it's like Sunday through Saturday. Yeah, Sunday through Saturday. So it's not going to give you the last couple of days because it's doing the last week. If you really want the last 7 days, then you would change that to last 7 days. Okay. Relative month range also allows you to say you want from the 15th of the previous month to the 16th of the current month. So you can do relative month range as well. Keep in mind you can exclude specific days. If you want to do like the last week and you want to exclude Saturday and Sunday from the report, you can do that, as well as within the report, whether you want to have a continuous time, say from midnight on the first day up until midnight on the last day, or an interval, which will allow you to do specifically like a time set of each day. So like this example, it pops up would be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do continuous. We'll do the last month's worth of data. So it'll do the last previous month. And then we can go to the schedule. Schedule, you can do regularly scheduled, so it's going to be on a schedule, whereas if this is going to be your ad hoc one time only report, one time only deal, you can actually say, all right, I'd like to run this, say, on May 1st, and it will run, and it's say like 7 a.m. 7 a.m. You can use this little calendar feature and say a.m. And then it will run May 1st at 7 a.m. and then never run again because it's a one-time deal report. If you do regularly scheduled, here you can go ahead and set it up to say, I want to do it on the first day of the month or relative day of the month. You can say like the first Monday of the month, and all kinds of fun second, third, fourth, or last Monday of the month, last day of the month, so forth like that. You can tell it when it starts, and then you can actually tell it when it ends. So if you were like, oh, I don't need it to run continuously forever, I really only need it for the summer, you could go in and say, I only want this to run until the program has ended, and that would be on, say, September 1st, and that's when it will stop running. Okay. You have other options besides monthly. You can do weekly, daily, and or hourly. Let's go ahead and go to output. And this is where you get some options for how you want to send the report. Now, emails, what I want you to notice is that there is the option here. It does say you have to push enter to validate an email address. So if I just typed in my email and then didn't push return, and I tried to save this, it's going to yell at you and say, this is not valid. So you do have to push return, and you're going to see the validation popping up. Okay. If I did a partial email at, say, email, and I never put the .com and tried to push return, it's going to yell at you also and tell you that it's not a valid email address. And so it also will not let you schedule. So just keep in mind that you'll want to put in, the proper email addresses that you want. Subject, this is for office hours, created during our demonstration. And then down below, we have options for format. There's a formatted report, and then there's a details only report. I'm actually going to show you in a brief moment after this why this is grayed out, because our summary reports do not provide the ability to have it in a details only. It has to be in a formatted report, in a uniquely built report that's going to give you like this visualization of data. Okay, so it is going to provide you only in that format. But you do have the option to say how you want to receive the report. Do you want to receive it as an email attachment, which just attaches the file to the email that it's sent to you? Or you can just say, give me a link, and that link will be provided the ability for you to download that report from our web. So you come back to the product to download that report. This is helpful if those reports happen to be a little large for your email client to be able to receive or send, really. So I will go ahead and schedule this. And now we have a schedule in here. Here's a schedule name. Here are the templates that are all being applied. The date filter of what we're filtering on, how often it's running, who it's going to, when it's next going to run. And then you have the ability to either run it off of its schedule, edit the schedule, or delete it. Okay. Now I did promise that I was going to show you, and I'll do this one a little bit more briefly. Let's go ahead and just do my monthly detail report. And I'm not going to put a description in. I'm going to add in the template of that long duration calls report. It's a 1 hour, so I wanted to see basically in the last month, anyone that did a call that's over an hour. We're going to just schedule that particular report. We can also, again, do it where it's the last month. So we're going to see the last month's worth of data. Scheduling it, we can also do it monthly, the first of the month. And then when it comes to output, this is where you can get a detail only report. This one would be your true CSV of just rows of data. And that's where that shows up because the detail reports have that option. Okay. And schedule. Now it's going to yell at me because I did not actually put an email address in here. So if I go ahead and put an email and a subject of my long duration calls and schedule. Oop, I got to push return. There we go. And schedule. And so now I have two schedules. Okay. So that's how you're going to start scheduling your reports. And so your schedules don't have to be individually like I did on an individual report. It can actually affect multiple reports. So you've got, 20 reports that need to go out to specific, they need to go out to specific people, managers, whatnot. You can actually schedule them to run based on that. It doesn't have to be, in our classic engine, scheduling reports was done on an individual report basis. Okay. So that covers the scheduled portion of the product. Okay. But that's only a small part of what I wanted to show you today. The next thing that I really wanted to show was to share reports. So if I come back up to report templates, and let's say long duration calls, I needed to share this particular report with another user. I need somebody else to be able to get in here, modify or view my reports and run them and whatnot. So what we're going to do is on the very far hand right side of my template, there's more options. And from here, I have the ability to share. Once you click that, you're going to see the different individuals within our organization that I can share the report to. So for example, I'm going to share this to my colleague, Sam. And with this, I also can make him whether an editor or a viewer, which means Sam can either edit this report and make modifications to that, or just be able to view it and or run it. Okay, so if I keep him as an editor and share that, then you're going to see that it says shared template successfully. Okay, so now this report is shared to him. How Sam is going to see that is that when he logs into this product, you'll see that there's not only a tab for my saved templates, we also have a tab for templates shared with me. Clicking on templates shared with me, you would see any reports. So in this situation, Sam should see reports saved to him or shared with him. And to demonstrate that, we're going to go here to this dropdown. As an admin, I have the ability to select Sam in this list. Oh, is Sam not in this list? I guess he's not. Let's go ahead and share who was in this list. He must not have logged in. So I will go ahead and we'll use Terry as an example. We'll go ahead and share this as well to Terry. And so we're going to go up to here. We'll find Terry, are you not in? There you are, Terry Iverson. Make him an editor, share. And so now if I switched over to Terry, we're going to see all of Terry's reports that he's run. These are his saved reports. And you should also see, templates that have been shared to him as well. Okay. That being said, if I go down to scheduled templates and I've selected Terry, I would see any schedules that he's run, or if I do all schedules, I can see any report on any user that has been scheduled out as well. So these are the different users and their reports. So if I go back to my schedules, I can just see my scheduled reports. Okay. So now I've shown you how to share reports to an individual. So the report that I shared was long duration calls. I kind of want to showcase one additional feature that I think is very important to talk about, and that is to delete a report. So let's say long duration calls, again, is the report that I've created. I don't want it anymore. I no longer need it, and I'm going to go ahead and delete it. It's going to yell at you and say this template is included in at least one schedule. The template needs to be removed from all schedules before it can be deleted. This template also means, so it needs to be removed from monthly detail. Okay, so if I go back to my schedules and I go ahead and delete this particular schedule out of the system, so it removes that requirement to be deleted, that is no longer scheduled. I can now come back to the report and I can try to delete. The next thing it's going to yell at you is that this template is shared with Terry Iverson and or Sam Sussman. Would you like to reassign or delete the template? So it is warning you or going to give you a warning that you can't delete a report that has been shared to other people because it would then be deleted from their systems. So it is warning you to allow you the opportunity to say, no, you know what? Sam actually uses this report. I shouldn't really delete this. Let me go ahead and reassign. So we'll click on reassign and we're going to say who we want it to go to. So I'm going to give this to Sam, reassign, and it's no longer in my account, is now been reassigned to Sam. Okay. Keep in mind, and I would just wanted to reiterate, I know I talked about this a moment ago. I want to kind of reiterate, as an admin, I do have the ability to see other templates that have been created by other users within the product. I can also go into schedules and not only see my schedules, but any other users in the product that have scheduled reports, as well as, and the last one is our report history. So any reports that I've currently run or run in the past, I can see mine. I've cleared mine out earlier, so I don't have my report history in here right now, but I can go and see other users' report history, and I can technically download or run those reports as an admin. Not all users will have this feature. You do have to specify whether they're a just report user, which would not get this feature, versus a report admin, which would have this feature. Okay, so there is a differentiation between users and admins with these capabilities. Okay, and that completes my demonstration of the ability to schedule your reports as well as share out your reports.